Most people want the outcome, but very few are willing to become the person the outcome requires. Let's elaborate. Now, everyone in this community, they want their place. They want their place in the club. Everyone wants to pass a test that's required of them to earn their place in the club. Everyone wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with the people either side of them who've also earned their place in the club. And yeah, I can guarantee that you want to say, yeah, I did it. But here's the truth that most aren't ready to hear. You don't build that person on the hardest day of training. You build that person before training even starts. You build that person in the quiet moments, the invisible moments, the moments nobody's watching, nobody's clapping, nobody's even around you. And it starts, and I mean literally, it starts every morning with making your bed. You may ask why. Why does it start with making your bed? Now let me take you back to a talk that I heard by Admiral McRaven. He stood in front of thousands of graduates and said this: if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. Now before you switch off and think, yeah, Jim, what has making your bed or my bed got to do with the Royal Marines, the Paras, the Rangers, the All-Iron Commander Course, or whatever else you're striving for? But bear with me, because if you do what might not make sense right this moment, I promise you it will at the end. Because if you make your bed every morning, you've already accomplished the first task, the very first task of the day. And that should give you a small sense of pride. And that pride pushes you then to do the next task, and then the next, and then the next. And by the end of the day, that task that started with the very first task of the day has turned into many. He also said this, and I need you to lock in to this part right now. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. I say it again. If you can't do the little things right, you will never, ever be able to do the big things right. Now let me bring you in to that world. I want you to picture the log race. The log race is undertaken by the recruits on the bottom field at Lympstone Commando. And some days it's cold, it's wet, your shoulders are on fire. The log feels like it's only getting heavier with every step, and your legs are burnt out, they're gone. And the recruits, they're also around you, they're suffering just as much as you are. That moment right there, nobody is thinking about motivation. Nobody is thinking about their why. Look, let's be honest. You ain't even thinking about this podcast right now. But what gets you through that moment, it's not inspiration. It's the standard that you've already built. And that's why this podcast right now, it matters. It's 0500, the alarm that you didn't snooze. It's the cold shower that you didn't skip. It's the session that you showed up even when you didn't feel like it. The meal you prepped, and it would have been a lot easier to order that takeaway. The log race is not where you find out who you are. The log race is where you prove who you've already become. Now picture the mud run. In fact, picture taking that very same log down to the mud for the mud run, because that will happen. You'll be exhausted, and the instructors, they'll be all over you. They'll be striking at every moment, and everything in your body will be telling you to stop. But the recruits who I've witnessed to get through that, it's not because they were superhuman. They weren't the most talented. They weren't even built any different to you. But you know what they did? They just built better habits before they got there. The small things done excellently every single day. And as we say on the T1 pathway, don't just do the basics, do the basics excellent, because that's what carries you through the mud. And look, here's what I've learned, and trust me, I've learned this the hard way. We spend so much time chasing the big moments, the big sessions, the big milestones, that dramatic comeback. But we completely neglect the basics. The basics done excellent and consistently are not basic at all. They are the foundation of everything. And you know what I always say? The bigger the foundation, the higher you can stack that tower. Look, McRaven's point, it wasn't even about beds. It was about this. The way you do the small things is the way you do all things. Like, listen, that if you cut corners in your sleep, I guarantee you'll cut corners in training. If you skip the mobility work because it's boring, you'll skip the hard thing when it matters. If you can't hold yourself to the standard when nobody's watching you, you will not hold yourself to a standard when everything is on the line. Built in the boring. That's what we say here. Built in the boring. The reps done consistently will always be better than the reps just done occasionally. And the truth is, this is where the Green Beret is rewarded, because the Green Beret, it's not awarded on the 30 miler. It's awarded to the person who showed up every single day before the 30 miler. The basics done excellent. Excellence is not an event. Excellence is a habit that's built on consistency. Maybe right now you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, you know what, Jim, I know this. Yeah, I know you know this because you're on the T1 pathway. And it's everything we practice and everything we preach. But do you do it? Be honest with yourself right now. Do you do it? Do you do it during the days that you're fatigued and you don't feel like it? Do you do it in the moments you've got that mud run and it's pissing it down outside? Do you do it in the moments you've got that run and it's pissing it down outside? Do you do it every week without missing a single session? Because knowing it and doing it are two different things. So let me ask you directly, what does your morning look like right now? Are you waking up with intention? Are you waking up and reacting? Are you hitting your sessions, or are you just finding reasons to move in? Are you preparing your food? Or just winging it, wondering why your energy is not sustainable? It's inconsistent. Are you working on your mindset, or just hoping that your mindset will always work for you? Are you doing the basics? Or are you waiting for motivation just to show up before you do? Because here's the truth. Motivation is just a visitor. It comes, it goes. You can't build a career, a body, or a military career on a visitor. Discipline, that's the resident. Discipline is what stays when motivation leaves. And discipline is built one small decision at a time. Make the bed, hit the session, prep your food, get the sleep, do the things you said you were going to do, even at the times you don't want to do it. Every single day, 365 days a year. Not when you feel like it, every single day. That's the standard. That's why you design the brand. That's why we built the brand. That's why we design the clothing to match the brand. Because it's the only standard I know. And it's branded gold for a reason. But Raven, he also talks about the mud flats during Hell Week. 15 hours in the freezing cold mud. Instructors telling them they could leave with just 5 minutes. In that moment, cold, exhausted, broken, he said one voice started singing. They were out of tune, but that didn't matter. Because that one voice quickly turns to 2 to 3, then 3 to 10. 10 became the whole class on that Hell Week. And he said somehow it was like the mud, it felt warmer. The wind, it felt tamer. And the dawn didn't even feel far away at all. That's what basics build. Not just physical resilience, they build character. The kind of character that sings in the mud even when everything is telling you to quit. The kind of character that makes the bed at 05:30 when nobody's watching. The kind of character that does the small things excellent. because they understand that the small things are never just small. That is a tier 1 standard. That is a gold standard. And that is what everyone should be striving towards right now. It starts today. It starts tomorrow morning. It starts with your bed. Because the truth is this: tomorrow is a new day. And tomorrow is the beginning of the rest of your life. What are you going to do tomorrow? Make your bed, or ignore this and just crack your own? In fact, what are you going to do today? Because I'm going to leave you with a quick task, and most of you might ignore this. And if so, that's on you. But the ones that take action will be the ones who I can guarantee will make their bed tomorrow. Write down 5 basics, 5 non-negotiables that you commit to every single day from this point forward. Let me give you an example. Make your bed, non-negotiable. Hit your morning session, non-negotiable. Prep your food, non-negotiable. 8 hours sleep, non-negotiable. Do the one thing you've been avoiding, non-negotiable. And it's simple. Do them. Do them every day. Do them without negotiation. Do them without excuses. Without waiting to feel ready. Do them with a smile on your face. Because the person who earns a Green Beret is not built on the log race. Not on the mud run. Even on the 30 miler. They're built in the quiet moments before any of that exists. The basics done excellent. Every single day. This is how you achieve your dreams. Not by being the most talented in the room, I can tell you that, because I've never been that person. But I've always been the hardest worker in the room. I've always been the most consistent in the room. And I've always had that dog in me, that no quitting attitude. If you can't do the little things right, you will never do the big things right. And look, one thing before I leave. Remember, it starts by making your bed in the morning. So make your bed.